Hi everybody, this is the baseball head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion. Your host, Hunter, welcome back to the baseball head. I hope you like this video. And hit that subscribe button. So I've been kind of, not away, but been very busy here. Getting a lot of stuff ready for the house, getting close to Thanksgiving. And Christmas is coming up very quickly in another month. So I've been very busy here at the house trying to paint it and get it straightened out for guests and everything else. But would mention that if you want to, please help me with a little bit of a donation in terms of a super thanks. You go in, it's a super thanks. Many people send me thanks. I don't think they understand the concept. But if you hit that little super thanks that's underneath the video, you'll see it's a great way to help the channel out. It helps with paint and nails and little things like that. So the Mets and obviously Major League Baseball, they had the non-tender waiver on Friday where they can decide who they can give contracts to. And the Mets had a couple surprising things, but not so many surprising things. Not like the last few years where they got rid of Vogelback and a whole bunch of dead weight the last couple of years. But it's from Mesmerize. Mets non-tender Alex Young, Grant Hardwick, and Alex Ramirez. Now, the Mets have been very busy this offseason. And obviously the big move will be what's going to happen with Juan Soto. So far, I believe the Mets are the favorite for Juan Soto. 58% chance that he will be a New York Met, with the Yankees being 42%, but I'm thinking that maybe it might be 57 Mets, 42% Yankees, and maybe 1% Phillies. So we'll see how that goes. But they had the big non-tender contracts yesterday, and we'll get into the New York Mets made official decisions on all 8 of their arbitration-eligible players whose salary estimates for 25 are listed ahead of Friday's non-tender deadline. Go through the names and the players. Paul Blackburn, right-handed pitcher they picked up from Oakland this past season. He got tendered a contract. The Mets left-handed starter David Peterson, he got tendered a contract. Knew he was going to come back. That was an obvious one. Paul Blackburn was actually a player I wasn't sure they were going to non-tender him. Or they were going to tender him a contract. That they would have gotten rid of him. Because he's a 5th starter, but maybe they just wanted him for depth. He did have a serious surgery done on his spine. But we'll see what happens with him. Hopefully he'll be ready by spring training. Tyrone Taylor got tendered a contract. The recently acquired center fielder Jose Siri got tendered a contract. Those 2 guys will be basically in a platoon like Taylor was with Bader. And Siri's probably a better center fielder than Bader was, but he's not nearly as good of a hitter, believe it or not. Right-handed pitcher Tyler McGill was tendered a contract. That was a little bit of a surprise in this situation. Alex Young was non-tendered. Luis Torrens was tendered, the Mets' backup catcher, to Francisco Alvarez. Sean Reed Foley avoided arbitration. He signed a 1-year deal. New York claimed Young off waivers from the Giants on July 17th. He recorded a 3.29 ERA. Of course, 13 2/3 innings with the team. Though he was left off the postseason roster and was typically utilized in low-leverage spots towards the end of the regular season. His usage was very surprising to me because he has obviously has Major League experience. They didn't use him much. They were more relying on Danny Young of the 2 youngsters the Mets had. It was very surprising they didn't use him more often. So he's gone. The Mets also non-tendered a pair of pre-arbitration players and right-handed reliever Grant Hardwick and outfielder Alex Ramirez. Hardwick posted 6.75 ERA in 4 Major League appearances this year, while finishing at 4.34 ERA over 33 innings. 33 outs, for AAA Syracuse. He is very surprising because he'd been sort of a mid-range prospect, but his issues have been his ability to throw strikes. So that's been a major issue. It was a major issue when he came here with the Mets. Alex Ramirez, whom Baseball America ranked as the number 92 prospect in the baseball season, ahead of the 23 campaign, struggled mightily over his past 2 seasons. He had 221 with 310 on base percentage, 317 slug with a 78 WRC plus, and 120 games with high at Brooklyn last year before slashing and hitting 210, 291, 299. Of course, 103 contests with AA Binghamton in 2024. He had taken a big step forward in 2022, but something happened in Brooklyn. He repeated Brooklyn again, and he just was not playing well. And the manager of the team, of the Brooklyn Cyclones at the time, was none too happy with the way he'd been playing. I don't know if his attitude was lousy, but it just didn't work out. I mean, that happens with some prospects. They just fizzle out. And that might be a situation with him. He just hit a wall, and he couldn't, like, get past that wall. I mean, he was struggling in Class A. We know that he was not doing well in Brooklyn, and he's sort of like spinning his wheels, unfortunately. That happens with prospects. Sometimes it happens in the major leagues, but sometimes, most of the time, it happens in the minor leagues. Usually not for a player this high on the list of prospects. I mean, that's the thing that's most surprising, is that you had a player here that was considered a future everyday player here, coming through the minor leagues, and he just didn't work out. That's an unfortunate situation. Some people were surprised. I'm somewhat surprised, but I've been following him all year, like I do with all the Met prospects, and he just did not work out. But that's how it goes in baseball. You get through, people get so like enamored with players, just because they see a name, they think, well, I got to protect this guy, this and that. But then most of the time, we don't see them, and then we just assume they're good because they're on these prospect lists. We don't know how they are as people, how they look on the field, how do they carry themselves, in the dugout, how they are with the teammates. You don't see any of that stuff. So sometimes it's very difficult to get a handle on a player and why it didn't work out. And maybe also it's a cultural situation, and maybe he's having difficulty with the culture. But the Mets, like all the major league teams, are very good at acclimating some of these players to the United States. I don't know. I'm just throwing that part out there. I don't know. But it could be any number of things that made it didn't work out. Or it might be just a simple fact that he's just not good enough. That happens with some players. But I want to get this video out because I was a little behind on that. But I'm never behind really what's going on with the club. I know what's going on at all times. All seeing, no owing baseball HUD. I know what's going on, what's going to happen, and really, it's a very exciting time for us as Met fans. And again, I expect Juan Soto, 58%, 57% chance he's with the Mets, 42% chances with the Yankees, and a 1% chance he'll go to the Phillies. The other teams, I don't consider them any kind of threats here. The only reason I put the Phillies there is because of the sort of belief that he's very good friends with Trey Turner and very good friends with Bryce Harper. But money talks with him, with this particular player. But I will have plenty of videos for you on them and what's going on with the Mets. Keep your eye out for any Juan Soto videos. Any rumor I find out about him, I'll get it to you. I don't expect a lot to happen next week, just due to the fact that it's a holiday, and I think some of the players are going to take their break, and then we get to the following week. Then things are going to pick up, and then we have the winter meetings right after that, so I expect things to pick up the following week. That's my own belief. So you let me know what you think about this video, and of course, please subscribe to the Baseball HUD, and I'll see you later.